when I got to OVW, there was, you know, nobody cared about what I'd done. Nobody cared about what I'd done in the United Kingdom, and sometimes it was quite. And I don't know if this was like ego talking, but sometimes it was quite diggy at me because well, you did this in England, but oh well. And in a way, they were right, but I think I don't know if they were testing me or whatnot to see how I'd react to that and see what my ego was like in regards to like mouthing back to comments like that. But I was just like, yeah, you're right. I'm here to work for OVW, so let's knuckle down. And I miss it so much because I got to train, 5 days a week, shows 4 times a week, just constant working. And they weren't the best shows, Steve. Some of them were terrible. Some of them were, in fact. I drove 4 hours with Rob Terry to work in front of 8 people. And then take the ring down and drive all the way back. And you know what? Won't regret a thing. I had a great day out with my mate Rob. We went in there and as much noise as you don't think 8 people are going to make, I made sure they made some noise. So it was, but that was what you were doing again. You were starting from the bottom, and it was just to see how your attitude was and how you take it. And that would be reported up to, TNA brass to say, hey, well, he's got a good attitude, and, if you bring him up, he'll have a good attitude with you. That's how it's supposed to look. But if you've got a bad attitude at developmental or training, let's say, and they put you, on the shows, who's to say you're not going to have a bad attitude there? So it's just all about, how you're perceived as a human being, and how you're perceived as a businessman, and how you're perceived as a member of staff, let's say. The promoter's your customer, and you're working together because they're going to exploit your talent in order to make money, but you're in an agreement with them for them to pay for that service, So you just have to create the best shop window for yourself, and hopefully people will buy into it.
Yeah. Now, obviously, everybody knows about the wrestling side of things, and they see you on television, etc. Before going off to America, you was living at your parents', working in a bank. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the move to America been like? The actual James Curtin side of things instead of the Rockstar Spud end of things.
Well, it's very. I mean, I have friends outside of the industry, like in Nashville, but it's very hard to do because this is a 24/7 business, especially when it's your full-time job. It's a 24/7 business, so meeting other people is not a problem for me because I could just use my British accent, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, you're from England. Yeah, here we go. So
are we talking girls here, or are we talking?
We're talking ladies, we're talking dudes, we're talking everybody, really. Just people. Americans are very friendly. They're very friendly people, and it's actually really nice because it's settling. But if they've got a bee in their bonnet, you know about it as well. So you just have to, and they're far more dramatic than we are in regards to, and you can see that when you watch like Celebrity Big Brother or something. Now the Americans are just making such a big projection of their anger and stuff, and Brits are like, no, don't worry about it. We're just not as confrontational as Americans, I don't think. But we, when you move over there, it is a bit of a culture shock, and you are surrounded by a lot of people who are just 24/7 the business, and you just have to keep a level head and know who your real friends are and stuff. And I know who my real friends are, I know who my family are, and I just you always remember your friends and your family, I guess.
So when you got up to the main roster, any worries, any fears? Was you worried about being digged out by some of the veterans?
No, I was more worried I was actually really worried about, okay, are you going to bring me up as the Rockstar character from British Boot Camp? Or, when they said to me, we're going to make you Dixie's chief of staff, I was like, yes, because it's a refresh, and I can put all this stuff that I've learned into a brand new package, and I can go out there and use it and be a completely fresh character. I'll be completely fresh in my own mind of what I'm doing, and I'm just, that was my mindset, and I just couldn't wait to get out there. And I say this to anyone, man, my strong point's not going in there and give you a technical wrestling match. You give me a microphone, then you've got some business with me, because I can talk and talk and talk. I mean, we're going bloody 30 minutes now, but if you give me a microphone, I can absolutely just talk you into a building. And that, and you forget when you hear me talk and the way I talk, it's just, that's what I taught myself how to do. When I was in a car, I'd be cutting promos. When I've been in all this spare time, you know, I'd have in my apartment when I haven't got shows, I'd be looking in the mirror cutting promos. I'd just teach myself how to project by talking. I'd look at the Dusty Rhodes. I'd look at the Roddy Pipers, God rest their souls. I'd look at all the people from World Class Championship Wrestling, Mid-South, all the NWA, all these great promotions like Continental, just how these guys spoke, and it felt so real when I was a kid, and it wasn't just from a script and guys are reciting lines. It was real, raw emotion, and that's what I try and get out of my performance in the ring, but, you know, even more so when they give me the opportunity to sell myself with that microphone. And that's what I'm trying to do to my audience. I'm trying to sell myself to them and show them what I'm doing. And, you know, I believe when I get out there, I'm a professional wrestler, and I believe it. And win or lose, I got to feed my family. And I believe that from the moment I walk through the curtain to the moment I get in the back. And, you know, that's what those people believe as well. And that's my job, and that's what I'm paid to do. And I do it all the time. So.
Now, you mentioned the scripted promos, and that seems to be the biggest pet hate with what's going on in WWE at the moment. What's it like over in TNA? Are you allowed to put your own characters across? Are you given guidelines?
We're given freedom. Like, we're given a general outline, you know, as you are, because we're not working for a wrestling company. We're working for a television company. So, you know, you're given your general outline, and then but we're given the freedom to, you know, take it under our wing and just, you know, make it our own, which I really appreciate from Matt Conway, Dave Lagana, and John Gabura, who give us that freedom. You know, but a lot of people do prefer to be given it word for word, and that's cool too because it works for them. But, you know, what works for me is what you want. Okay, let's get a general outline and then put it in my own words, put it in my own spin.
I think TNA, I mean, knowing you guys that are over there now, yourself and Drew and things, I've been watching a bit of the product, and I don't really understand why it gets as much grief as it gets, to be honest with you. Why do you think it gets a lot of grief from the wrestling media and I think, you know, other places online?
Well, I've said it before in other podcasts. It's just like you watch a movie, and you don't really care if the producer, the director, or the second unit assistant had an argument or a falling out, or that the budget got cut by the movie company or something, as long as there's a good movie. In pro wrestling, everybody really cares about what's going on in the back, instead of what's going on in the front. And I don't know if that was because we open the curtain so much to this reality era that we're in now of television and entertainment, because everybody's just so interested in what's going on besides what the finished product is. So it may be that, I'm not sure, but we as a company, everybody on the roster works their hardest, everybody in the back works their hardest, everybody in the offices works their damn hardest to give the fans the best pro wrestling product that they can give you. And you know, we can't say any more than that. If you don't like it, that's fine, but please support pro wrestling. Go somewhere else and watch pro wrestling, that's fine. Just support our industry, that's all we ask.
And TNA are moving from Destination America to Pop TV. Now, obviously, I'm not in America. Is this an upgrade? Is this what's the deal with Pop TV?
We've moved to Pop. Destination America weren't a bad organisation to work with. It was just that they're going in a different direction, and now we're moving to Pop. And as the executive producer of Pop has said, we're hoping to capture that that lost audience that we had on Spike TV, and then just really go from there. But it's a good chance to hit the reset button again and just, you know, do what we do best, and that's give you a great pro wrestling product. God,
I love some of your answers. It's amazing. It's because they're just, you are the greatest company man in history.
I'm really not. Probably, you know, when I've got my work head on, yes, but they probably cannot stand me when I'm at the bar afterwards. No, I love working for this company. They've never done me wrong. You know, you have disagreements here and there, but it's the way you handle those disagreements, I think. But that's normal. That's in everyday life, because I never look at it as a bad thing, but if you become confrontational about wrestling, because the other person cares just as much as you care, and that's why you're in this confrontation, and it's all subjective, and that's usually what sparks arguments. And if I'm a very big believer in positivity, and if you've got negativity, if you've got one negative, say one bad apple in a bunch, in a car, eventually that apple is going to spread to all the other apples, and everything's going to be rotten. You know what I mean? So it just spreads like disease, negativity. But you've got to think realistically. You really do. But I think with a positive mental attitude and keeping negativity, away, I just take a step back at things and just look at it as, right, this is why this is getting a bit heated. Let's just, have a conversation here, have a conversation there, and not just
talk about food. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just food for thought. I know a lot of people get really, really aggressive and angry about certain things in the industry, but if you just take a step back, we're all on the same page and we're all trying to do good. And if there's some people that aren't prepared to do good and just have their own agenda, then, a lot of the time they're the ones that you don't want to be working with. So.
Who are your travelling buddies? Do you got any guys that live near you?
I usually travel with Jeremy Borash. How he's put up with me for as long as he has, nearly 3 years, I do not know. But I have to keep, kicking ass every time I'm on TNA television just to repay Jeremy for all the faith he's had in me, and and constantly looking after me as well, because I'm an idiot, please. But he's like an older brother, or a weird uncle, or just a strange friend. Or no, he's not. Honestly, that guy's one of the hardest working guys in the company, and he's just the best to be around. He really is. And then I've got like Josh Matthews, who's absolute scumbag, complete scumbag, and give him 3 wines, he'll be picked up his Twitter and just abuse at everybody. But he's an absolute, he's a good guy deep down. But newly married as well to Madison Rain, and she's an amazing girl as well. She's pretty cool.
Which one is Madison Rain? I'm trying to
Killer
remember.
Queen, mate. Killer Queen. You know her, I think.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Would. You're a big fan of knockouts and divas.
I am a big fan of any kind of knockout or diva or anybody along. Madison Rain, I'm thinking, but it's not, because I think the one I'm thinking of goes out with Bully Ray.
Yeah, you probably want to leave Velvet well alone, otherwise.
That's the one. Yeah, I don't.
He will find you, and he will hunt you down and probably kidnap your family. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when TNA were over a few years ago, I went up to meet Doug, and we went to the hotel afterwards. And is it Velvet? Is it Velvet? Did you call
Velvet.
it Velvet? She's beautiful.
Lovely.
So yeah,
honestly, lovely girl.
I'm not going to mess with him because he's a little bit bigger than me. So.
A little bit. He's a big boy, man. Bubba.
Yeah.
But again, somebody that I learnt so much from, mainly respect. He taught me a lot about respect, and we did the house shows and TV 1 month, and I think I went through 18 tables in 1 month. and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for anything, because when I was growing up, the Dudleys were who I wanted to be in, because little Spike Dudley was able to be a wrestler, so I was like, I believed then. So I wanted to be one of the Dudleys and have these 2 big brothers look after me no matter what I did, and then, I'm getting put through a table every week by them, and I had no problems at all, because the house show main event was always Bully Ray and EC3, and I'd do with EC3, and then, on order of Madam Dixie, we'd make it a handicap match halfway through, and then, all people wanted to see was someone get put through a table, because that was the Dudley's thing, and then I'd annoy the audience so much that they wanted it, and Bubba gave it them, and everybody went home happy, and it was good. Those were great times, man. Just learning. Eventually, we were just going out there and not speaking to each other. It finishes with Spud going through a table. Cool. Yeah, out there, and it was just the best feeling because of that trust, and having that trust from someone like him. Just some of the best memories I have in the business were, that period.
Yeah, fabulous. Now, obviously, I get the feeling talking to you, you was obviously, when you were kind of watching wrestling, it would have been during the Attitude Era, like you say, with the Dudleys and all these guys. What's it like when you actually are getting changed with them, when you first meet them and things like that? Is it easy to just get on with them, or is it difficult to not ask them questions and things like that?
It's intimidating to begin